Good morning, friends. This is Pastor Ginny with the Daily Word. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Over the past couple weeks, as maybe has been the case for you, and I know has been the case for other pastors, I have been thinking about the wilderness and what wilderness experiences mean and what biblical texts about wilderness have to teach us during this time. One of the texts in the Bible that I like to return to when I think about wilderness is actually a psalm. It's Psalm 63, and the first verse says this: "You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you, my whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water." The sort of title of that psalm says, "A Psalm of David when he was in the wilderness of Judah." I think maybe one of the reasons that I return to that psalm and why I love it is it reminds me of an experience I had a couple of years ago where I got to travel to Israel, Palestine with a group of young clergy. And we were there for almost 2 weeks, and on one of the last days, we spent at least half the day, maybe more, out in the Judean wilderness. It looked nothing like I had envisioned my whole life. It wasn't this sandy desert. It was rocky and it was hilly, and most of all, it was the quietest place I have ever been in my whole life. It was so quiet that after we had been there for a while, I started to hear this droning sound, and it was so loud that I thought, that must be a military plane about to fly overhead. There is no way that anything else could be that loud. And I looked around and I realized that the droning sound was actually a housefly buzzing around somewhere near my head. But I was able to hear that fly in a way that I have never heard a fly before because of how quiet the wilderness was. The wilderness, in its quiet and its starkness, in its unfamiliarity, it gives us the ability to hear and to see and to sense in ways we never have before. And one of the things that gives us the ability to pick up on that we may not normally sense are our longings, our thirst. Just like the psalmist writes, my whole being longs for you. I thirst for you. I think at this point in our quarantine experience, many of us, if we're still mostly at home, are starting to experience some of those longings to get out. We're starting to itch to get out and have different experiences. So your longings may sound something like, I just want to go to a Mexican restaurant with unlimited chips and salsa. That's what I want right now. Or maybe you think, I just want to get on a plane and go anywhere but here. I just want to go to Target. I just want to see my extended family. I just want someone else to take my children for a while. We all have these longings that have begun to come to the surface. And so my challenge for you this week as we continue in the wilderness together is to interrogate your longings a little bit. Because we want these things on the surface, but often there's something else underneath. So I challenge you to sit with those for a little bit and see, what are you really longing for? Is it community or connection? Are you longing for some sort of rest? Or is it a longing to take back some kind of control or the illusion of control? Or is it a longing to consume or acquire because there's a dissatisfaction with what you have or where you are? What do those longings really represent deep down inside you? Sit with those and then bring them to God, just how they are. You don't have to dress them up. You don't have to be afraid to bring your longings before God. The Psalms show us that. Psalm 63 shows us that. So that's my challenge for you this week as we continue in the wilderness together. And I want to end this time with a poem that's actually a prayer as well. It's by Mary Oliver from this book called Thirst. And the poem itself is actually called Thirst. It's the epilogue of the book. So let us pray this poem together. Another morning and I wake with thirst for the goodness I do not have. I walk out to the pond in all the ways God has given us such beautiful lessons. O Lord, I was never a quick scholar, but sulked and hunched over my books past the hour and the bell. Grant me in your mercy a little more time. Love for the earth and love for you are having such a long conversation in my heart. Who knows what will finally happen or where I will be sent, Yet already I have given a great many things away, expecting to be told to pack nothing, except the prayers which, with this thirst, I am slowly learning. Amen. Have a great week, friends.